Tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Eagles adding a much-needed reinforcement for their banged-up secondary. Acquired safety Kevin Byard from the Titans for safety Terrell Edmonds and 2 draft picks. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey will play against the Vikings on Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. At least one half of the World Series matchup will be settled today. Phillies up 3-2 host the Diamondbacks. Game 6 of the NLCS. Aaron Nola, Merrill Kelly, ESPN radio coverage, bottom of the hour. Then we've got a Game 7 ALCS Rangers-Astros, 7:30 Eastern. Houston starts Christian Javier. Texas goes with Max Scherzer. ESPN's Tim Kirkchin.
This is exactly why they traded for him, so he could win Game 7. Unfortunately, it will only be his second start since September the 12th. You have to wonder how sharp he's going to be. But they're throwing a first-ballot Hall of Famer out there for Game 7.
Tim Kirkchin on Max Scherzer. Sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski Sixers guard James Harden remains away from the team. It's unclear whether he'll be available for Thursday's season opener against the Bucks.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, we saw a lot of backup quarterbacks play this weekend. I'll tell you if any of them played well enough to stay on the field. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. The Saints couldn't ruin our weekend. Tigers win. Peter Burns in 1 hour. Timmy B in hour number 3. LSU picks up another commitment over the weekend. A lot to do. Let's get it kicked off as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
A Saturday's game against Army, I'm not sure if you could have scripted any better for LSU. Well, maybe except for the Zy Alexander injury, but we'll get there. You had an easy win. You got to rest some of your injured players. You got your starters out early. You got tons of playing time for the young guys. And while you were coasting to a 62-0 win, Bama had a 4-quarter dogfight against Tennessee where they had to come back from down 13 in the first half. So while you had a chill day going into your bye, the team you're going to see in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks had to go 4 full quarters against a rival. I'm not sure it could have gone any better for LSU Saturday in Tiger Stadium. The pomp and circumstance was cool. I know a lot of people really appreciated all the tributes, the camouflaged end zones, the governor, who's a West Point grad, doing the ceremonial coin toss, the paratroopers, the 3 paratroopers that flew into Tiger Stadium, the alma maters at the end. Lots of really cool things that LSU did to honor the cadets of the United States Military Academy. The game itself was ho-hum and exactly what LSU needed. You needed to be efficient early to get a big enough lead to get your guys out of the game, and that's what LSU did. When I watch the LSU football games, and I chart, because we do whiskey and wine, so we have the post-game show. So, like, I have a notepad, and I take all my notes at the top of the page. On one side, I put good, and on the other side, I put bad. So it's the good plays that stand out, bad plays that stand out, in each half. In the first half, there were only 2 bad plays that I charted. One was the intentional grounding by Jaden Daniels, which led to a field goal, nitpicking. The other was Gregory Clayton and his continued inability to catch a punt. This is 3 consecutive weeks now where you've had an opponent pinned back and you've lost chunks of yardage because Gregory Clayton won't field the ball. Missouri punted out of its end zone, downed you at your 8. Auburn punted out of its end zone, down you at your 22. And Army got a 58-yard punt off after you forced a 3-and-out on their first possession because Gregory Clayton can't field the ball. You need to replace him. It's time for Aaron Anderson to get in there and field punts. But aside from that, again, 2 very small things. LSU was awesome. You know that LSU has to stat compile with Jaden Daniels because he wasn't going to play the full game, so you needed him to get as much of a statistical outlier as he could in a short amount of time, and he did that. Jaden Daniels in just one half of football, 11 of 15 passing for 279 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. And yes, he completely touchdown vultured John Emery when Emery got you down inside the 1 and probably scored. And then they went to the tush push on consecutive plays. Ultimately, Jaden Daniels getting in. As I believe it was Jordan Rogers said on the broadcast, that they don't ask how you scored them touchdowns. They just see him in the box score. And Jaden Daniels accounted for 4 touchdowns on Saturday. Your defense was awesome. Awesome and disciplined. And I think that's a huge part of what we saw on Saturday night. You're facing a non-traditional offense, and this is a defense that's been susceptible to giving up big plays because of the lack of discipline, not trusting your eyes. And this was a game where your linebackers were going to have to be really good, and by and large, they were. Your leading tackler on the day was Omar Spates, then Harold Perkins. Then Jordan Jefferson was next, and then Major Burns. So you did exactly what you had to do. Andre Sam came away with 2 interceptions. Ovie Agofu forced a fumble and came up with a fumble recovery. You allowed a rushing offense, only 3.5 yards per carry. You had 5 TFLs. You batted down 3 balls at the line of scrimmage. Your linebackers played great. Again, I understand the competition and who you were facing, but it hasn't mattered. Did you see Arkansas on Saturday? Did you see that Arkansas offense at home against Mississippi State put up 3 points and look anemic? That Arkansas offense that came into Baton Rouge and put up 420 yards and 31 points? Your defense is improving. I'm not telling you they're great or are going to be great at any point this season, but they are improving, getting closer to what we think might be the good enough to complement the best offense in college football. The most disappointing part of the game Saturday, obviously, was Zy Alexander's injury, and it was so unnecessary. I mean, the last play of the half, Army heaves up a ball, Zy Alexander intercepts it, and instead of just going down, he's trying to return it, and on the tackle, he gets injured. After the game, here's what Brian Kelly had to say about the Zy Alexander injury at the end of the first half.
A lower body injury that'll get evaluated here over the next 24, 48 hours. We'll get a better picture of that.
What I was told is that it's an ankle injury. He did leave on crutches, and whereas last Sunday when I had a conversation about Emory Jones and the feeling was he's going to be fine and they'll probably just give him a week off and get him ready for Bama, it was a 180 from that when talking about Zy Alexander. It's a long way to go. We're 2 weeks away from LSU Bama. He could rest, get treatment, and he could recover. Don't know. But it's decidedly, I think, less optimistic about Zy Alexander being available for Alabama. And that stings because he has been your best cover guy all season. That's not saying much because the secondary struggled, but he's been your best guy. And something else that's interesting that was pointed out to me after the game as well is that Zy Alexander has actually switched sides of the field from the field side to the short side. Is essentially he's switched. So Sage Ryan played that wide side cornerback, and Zy Alexander switched sides and was playing better there. I was actually told that Brian Kelly at practice has been spending more of his time with the cornerbacks. He's sort of taken that on as his personal project to help continue to improve that room. and you maybe felt like you were gaining some traction there, and then that disappointing injury, and your best cornerback could be out against Alabama. That's the one gigantic bummer about what happened Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, is that injury to Zy Alexander. The flip side of it is, because you were able to get your starters out after the first half, and your starters played the first possession of the second half, except for Jaden Daniels. And Brian Kelly, during his halftime interview with Gordy on the LSU Sports Radio Network, essentially said that last touchdown before half, and when LSU called the timeout with a minute and a half left, got the ball and very quickly scored. They had the deep ball to Malik Neighbors right before half. It was the 26-yarder to Malik Neighbors right before half to put LSU up 38-0. Brian Kelly said, look, that last touchdown changes the dynamics of how they approached the second half because they were up 5 scores. And so Nussmeier played the entire second half. We did get to see, after the first drive of the second half, we got to see the second offensive line, which from left to right was Bordelon, Macaneoli, DJ Chester at center, Martinez at right guard, and then Zalance Hurd stayed and played the entire game at right tackle. He needed those reps in case if he has to play against Alabama, but that was certainly good to see the offense roll the way they did. Nussmeier played a clean game. You know, the one thing that we always talk about with Nuss that you got to be sort of mindful of are the turnovers. 7 of 12, 90 yards. He threw the deep touchdown, the 51-yarder to Malik Neighbors. No interceptions, good decision-making with the ball, and got to play the entire second half. Jeremiah Hughes, the freshman corner out of Las Vegas, played in the second half. Kylan Jackson, who Brian Kelly referenced a couple of weeks ago, the freshman safety out of Zachary, who Kelly sort of joked and said, well, he's learned how to tie his shoes and he's not wearing his chain during pregame anymore. Kylan Jackson saw his first action. He wears number 23, so it was good to see him get out there. Trey Holly, freshman running back, ripped off the 67-yarder at the end of the game. He was named SEC Freshman of the Week this week, led LSU in rushing. So a lot of really good things. You got the Logan Diggs only took 6 carries. Essentially, you allowed all your starters to have a bye, an open date, before you go into the open date. So you should be healthy and ready to go take your swing at Alabama coming up a week from Saturday with control of the SEC West on the line. I'm not sure if you had grabbed a pen and a paper and tried to script that game Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, it could have gone any better than it did, save the injury to Zy Alexander. All right, LSU wins 62-0. They beat Army. Now they head into their open date before a trip to Alabama, and a lot on the line as the calendar turns to November. And after 2 losses in September, I'm not sure many of us thought that might be the case, but here we are. All right, it is After Further Review. Our show, But Never Day, is brought to you by Bud Light. Certainly appreciate our friends at Mockler Beverage. Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. And I love going to bat for my friends over at Mockler Beverage because they've been great community partners. And I tell you all the time about how invested Bud Light, how invested Mockler is in our community. This Saturday is the Alzheimer's Walk to Remember 5K. It's sponsored by Michelob Ultra. Walk to Remember is the largest event in the greater Baton Rouge area to raise awareness regarding Alzheimer's disease and funds to support the programs and services Alzheimer's Services provides to local families affected by Alzheimer's or other memory-related impairments. Alzheimer's Walk to Remember this Saturday, sponsored by Michelob Ultra, our friends over at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. Drink easy with Bud Light. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break, y'all. We're glad you're with us. Our Monday shows, as always, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. When we come back, I'll switch it from the purple and gold to the black and gold. Although the Saints didn't play this weekend, that didn't stop there from being drama around the New Orleans Saints that transpired this weekend. And we'll get to that when we come back next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon has represented some 75,000 Louisianians, recovering more than $2 billion for their clients. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. But not only does Gordon help injured people in our state, they give back in so many ways. I always encourage you to go to gordongives.com. That's gordongives.com. And you can see all the different charitable initiatives that Gordon and his team are involved in, from the Grubbin with G series featuring the NIL deals. The Malik Neighbors and Harold Perkins interviews are up. Tell you all the time about the autographed football giveaway. Every single game day this fall, you can enter to win an autographed football by members of the G team. Just go to gordongives.com. Remember, get Gordon and get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
It was interesting how many of you messaged me over the weekend or even this morning on Monday morning to say, well, at least the Saints couldn't ruin my Sunday. Yeah, we went deep dive into the Saints on Friday after that Thursday night disaster. I mean, it was unforgivable and inexcusable, and it was a terrible home loss to Jacksonville, a game that you should have won and didn't. You know, it's not that you necessarily need anything else to be upset, enraged, frustrated about regarding the New Orleans Saints. But I'm going to do it anyway because I think Michael Thomas over the weekend kind of gave you a glimpse into the culture right now in New Orleans. So Nick Underhill tweeted, there was a play in the game on Thursday, if you didn't see it or if you're not familiar. It was in the fourth quarter, and there was about 11 minutes to go, and the Saints are down 24-16. And it's 3rd and 5, and they throw a deep ball down the right sideline, and Chris Olave quits on the route. Derek Carr is just chastising Chris Olave. You can see him yelling at him, like, keep going. Derek Carr got pretty animated, yelling at Olave on this one. So, after the game, here's what Dennis Allen had to say about that play itself.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's one of those where, Chris has really kind of got what's kind of referred to as a bus ticket release, which means he's got a must outside release, take off and try to clear the defense out. Derek thought there was a good chance to get a one-on-one shot with him on the outside lanes, which, in our league, if you get a chance to, get a good player in a one-on-one matchup, that's what a lot of this league is about. And Chris didn't, he didn't run that route the way that it needs to be run. So that's what happened. So we end up having a throwaway there.
Okay, so Olave gave up on his route. Carr threw it away. Carr was pissed. Nick Underhill from New Orleans.football, who does a great job, of course, tweeted, Olave said after the game he'd take the blame on that play, and no question he should be running that all out. But that pass was never supposed to go to him, and he's not even in the progression. Okay, so that's what Nick Underhill tweeted. Michael Thomas replies to Underhill's tweet, and this is where the problem comes in. Michael Thomas goes on Twitter and replies, exactly. His job is only to collision outside shoulder of defender. He is never the throw, not even an alert. Only advice I would give him is to take the ball and know Taysom runs fast, so he has to run even faster to clear it out. But the progression is 7, 22, 13. Eyes only went to 7, meaning Taysom Hill. So Nick Underhill tweets, yeah, Olave said he should have run all out in that play, but he wasn't even in the progression. Ball was never intended to go to him at all. Michael Thomas goes and co-signs Nick Underhill's tweet and says, yeah, Carr screwed up because he never even left Taysom Hill. He didn't even go to the other receivers in the progression, which would have been Hill, Shaheed, Michael Thomas. Ball should never even considered going to Olave on that play. Whatever, I don't care. I don't care who the ball should have gone to, why it didn't go to that person, if Olave should have run out. I don't care. Long game, lots of plays, lots of things happen. You make decisions in that moment, whatever. You didn't win or lose the game because of that play. What that does illustrate, though, is the lack of respect organizationally that players have for Dennis Allen. Because when Michael Thomas is willing to go on Twitter and reply to a reporter's tweet to co-sign calling out Olave and Derek Carr, that's a problem. Because you're airing your dirty laundry in public. Think about the most stable organizations in the NFL. Can we all agree the Pittsburgh Steelers are the most stable organization in the NFL? Can we all agree to that? They've had 3 head coaches in 50 years, from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin. There is no more bastion of stability in the NFL than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you ever hear Steelers players going rogue, calling out other players or coaches? There's 2 times I can remember players really bringing negative attention to that organization. Antonio Brown, who at the time was the best receiver in the NFL. What did the Steelers do? They cut him. See ya. Good luck in Oakland. And Le'Veon Bell. They franchise tagged Le'Veon Bell for the 2nd consecutive year in 2018. Bell wouldn't sign his franchise tender. He sat out the 2018 season, and then the Steelers didn't even try to re-sign him. They let him hit free agent and said, see ya. I don't care if you're a top 5 back in the NFL. We're not interested. Because stability in the organization, respect of the hierarchy and the chain of command is more important than one player, however good that one player is. The Saints had this. The Saints had this. When Sean Payton first came in 2006, Dante Stallworth, Wayne Gandy, a lot of the entitled veteran players got kicked out because they weren't bought in. And after the Saints had won the Super Bowl, and then in 14, 15, 16 had the back-to-back 7-9 cultures seasons, and Sean Payton said, Acknowledge the culture had eroded. What did they do? Junior Gillette, get out. Oh, Jimmy Graham, you want to be franchised as a receiver instead of a tight end, and we're going through this big, long thing? We're trading you to Seattle. Oh, Brandon Cooks, only closed mouths don't get fed. Oh, really? Trading you to New England. Get out. Kenny Stills, oh, you're a 5th-round pick and became a starter, and we got great value for you? Don't care, bad locker room guy. See ya. They valued culture more than anything. It ain't the same anymore. This is Michael Thomas going to Twitter to essentially hang Derek Carr out. And he ain't wrong, by the way. I just don't care about the premise of what he's saying. It's that he went to Twitter to say it. That illustrates a complete lack of fear of consequences because you have a substitute teacher at the front of the class. We've all seen this before, y'all. I had a teacher in high school that nobody respected. I'm not going to tell you this person's name, but nobody respected this teacher. And there was a kid in my class who would come in every day because the teacher would stand in the hall by the door to greet every student as they came in the class. And this kid would go into the room. And you know how you'd have this is when we had chalk, gather around kids. Before there were whiteboards, everyone had chalkboards, these big green things that you would actually write in chalk on the board. And he would grab a box. You know how when it was like a new box of chalk, it would be like long sticks of chalk. You know, then they invariably get worn down to little nubs. But it was like he would go grab a new box of the long sticks of chalk, and he would fire the entire box against the chalkboard, and it would explode into a million pieces. I could not even count the number of times this kid did this. I was in another class with the same kid, and the teacher was Mr. Billings, and Mr. Billings was a badass. He was probably 70. He rode a motorcycle to school every day with these Kevlar jacket and gloves. He was on the weekend, he was like a part-time police officer in Springfield as well. And Mr. Billings was a badass, and everybody knew you didn't cross Mr. Billings. Mr. Billings didn't yell and scream or anything. But he's the kind of dude that would look at you if you were misbehaving, and you knew he ain't the one. You know what I mean? We all had people like that. Same kid never misbehaved in Billings' class. Why? Because he had his respect. They don't respect Dennis Allen. Not that I'll say it again. Dennis Allen's a great defensive coordinator. He's a really good defensive mind, all that stuff. And I'm not saying they don't respect him as a man. They don't respect his authority as a head coach. He's the substitute teacher in the front of the class that nobody respects and can't get everybody to behave and behave nicely. And so Derek Carr's yelling at Pete Carmichael, and Derek Carr's yelling at Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas is on Twitter calling out Derek Carr. Alvin Kamara's in his post-game press conference sort of subtweeting Derek Carr. They're all infighting because nobody respects the guy at the top that says, I ain't the one and this ain't the place. You got something to say, you say it internally. But when you go publicly, forward-facing, outward-facing, we're unified. But this team doesn't believe that. The culture is eroded. It's happened quickly because they don't respect the substitute teacher at the front of the class. They're firing boxes of chalk at the chalkboard. It's exploded a million pieces, and there's no retribution because they don't respect it. Saints needed Mr. Billings is what they need. Long week for New Orleans. Mini bye after Thursday Night Football. We'll see how they can fare heading up to Indy this Sunday. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com was down at the Harahan office last week. My phone's blowing up right now with all the people who had Mr. Billings. And no, Billings wasn't the one, y'all. Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Get to Michelli.com to see a list of all the services that they offer, all the different industries that they service. I mean, some of the biggest companies in the world use Michelli for product testing. Like, you know, the perforation on toilet paper or paper towels? Well, those machines have to be calibrated to know how much force it should require to tear that paper towel on the perforation. Well, who calibrates those machines? Michelli. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, and they are hiring 31 different offices across 11 different states. And they're a great DOD, a bridge partner, part of the bridge program as well, helping both active duty and retired military transition into civilian life. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll go around the SEC. Got an update on the Michigan story. If you haven't heard yet, we'll get you up to date on the absolute latest. That Michigan staffer who was apparently stealing signals and stealing signs and all that stuff. Michigan's in a little bit of hot water, it looks like. What will come of it, I don't know, but we'll give you the absolute latest when we come back. And by the way, there is a new betting favorite to win the college football playoff. For the first time in more than a year, it's not Georgia. We'll get to that coming up here when we come back after the break. Glad you're with us here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Well, y'all, we had those cold temps evaporate after a few days. But they're right around the corner. And that means you're going to be firing up your heater. And before you do, make sure you call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. Call them right now. Servicing the entire greater Baton Rouge area. 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com. Remember, your preseason heater safety check. It's so important. Look, if you're part of their membership club, this is complimentary seasonal maintenance. So my preseason heater safety check is going to get done for free because I'm part of their membership club, but you should be as well. And if you're not, mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Make sure your heater is safe and efficient for the coming cold weather season. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with
AFR. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
You know, Muse, you hit the wrong button at the wrong time.
No, I didn't, but whatever.
The machine had a
frustrating.
mind of its own and just fired off when it wanted to. Excuse. Heard that one before, Muse. Oh, we got a good update on the Matchular. I need some music. I don't care what you play. Maybe, well, I don't want to play. I guess we could play Aqua.
We need... No,
Taylor Swift Love Story, do it.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Do it. Taylor Swift Love Story, do it. Oh, we got some T-Swizz coming up as well a little later in the show. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Are we calling it Tavis or Trailer? Travis Kelce, Taylor
You
Swift.
cannot call it
Tavis?
trailer. That is just not
I
good.
know. I think that's way better than Tavis.
Oh, no. Trailers, that's bad, bro.
Trailer's awesome. Paulie, what do you think? Trailer? I think we go with Trailer, yeah?
I kind of like Trailer.
Yeah, I like Trailer too.
It
It's an
fits.
actual word. It does fit. Anyway, so Muso is going to be going on a blind date to see the Aqua concert at the Fillmore in New Orleans at the end of November. Check the date for me. November
26th, I believe it
26th.
is.
I
Yeah,
can't
November
remember if it's 26 or 28. But anyway, all right, where's my Taylor?
It's loading.
Come on. Okay. Anyway, Muso's going on a blind date. Props meeting, which our promotions department met today. Tickets are secured. They're actually working on a sponsor for the show as well, for the whole promotion as well, which would be really cool. Oh, there it is, Muse.
There it is.
How you feeling about it? Crank
Feeling
that up a
about
little
what,
bit.
this?
Crank that up a little bit. Yeah.
It's an incredibly catchy, annoying song that's going to be stuck in my head the rest of the day now.
You feeling a little...
It is because it's so catchy. It's also one of the only songs where I know most of the words by her.
Muse. You can acknowledge that you're a Swiftie. It's
I'm
okay.
not. Far
She's
from
the
it,
most
actually.
popular entertainer in the world.
And I respect that.
I happen to love her music.
And I respect the talent, the ability, all of that. I just doesn't do it for me.
It's okay, Muse. Like, super creative lyricist. She writes her own music, plays her own music. She's great.
All great
Love
things.
it. You can sit there and you can sit there and be all, I'm Muse. I don't like Taylor Swift. Yeah, you do. We all do. We all like to crank that up a little, Muse. You're going to be slow dancing with the future Mrs. Muso soon.
Is this really a slow? I don't think this is a slow dance.
You can make it a slow dance. You could.
Slow the song down.
No. How you, Muse, you getting a little nervous?
No.
So, why not? No butterflies?
No.
Nervous excitement?
Not yet. I mean,
Muse,
I don't
you
really
gotta
know-
sell this thing a little bit. Jesus, help me, Muse. Work with me a little bit.
I'm
My
being
God,
honest. You want to lie?
Why would any woman want to go out with you after this? Muse, you excited? No. Oh, great.
You said,
can't
are you
wait to go
nervous?
enter this contest.
You asked if I was nervous. I said no.
Excitement?
Yes,
That's what I
excitement
said.
for sure. You said nervous.
And I said nervous excitement, Muse.
Excitement, sure, yeah, of course, man. It's fun meeting new people. It's fun doing things like this. This is going to be interesting.
Paulie, he's going to be alone forever, isn't he, Paulie? Forever.
Probably so.
I mean,
with that attitude, absolutely.
Thank you, Paulie. With that attitude, tell you what.
I hate y'all.
How's Mrs.
Y'all are the
Muso?
worst.
Your mom, Mrs. Muso, Carolyn. How's she doing?
It's not her name.
Well, it's going to be for this.
You were close, but just
Carol.
so Maryland.
God, I knew it was close. We
Yeah,
talked
you're
before.
close.
How does Marilyn feel about this?
Yeah, actually, I haven't told her.
Oh, come on.
Well, she's been really under the weather, actually. Like, really, really under the
Shout
weather.
out,
so,
Marilyn.
yeah.
Have you brought her some chicken noodle soup?
Yes. They helped around the house.
Good.
Going and helped her around the house and everything.
Okay.
So yes, for sure.
All right. I am excited, Muse. We're going to get you tickets to the show, dinner, transportation.
It's going to be a great night.
Good night.
LSU's going to have beaten Texas A&M the night before, Matt. There's going to be plenty to celebrate. I mean, look.
There you go, Muse.
We're going to be vibing.
Now he's getting a little. You hear him, Paulie? Now he's feeling a little bit. I think you all should listen to Tay-Tay the whole way down and the whole way back.
We'll see
What
about
if
that.
What if she's a Swiftie?
That'd be cool. I'm fine with that. We would need to listen to Aqua. Otherwise, we're not going to know any of the friggin' songs that they play.
I think that's fine. I don't think you need to listen to Aqua. I think you're gonna get the vibe of Aqua just fine. I think
that's one song we played the other day.
Yeah,
that
sounds like
anything
something you'd expect to hear from Aqua.
Yeah, that was something.
All right. So the Matchular, we're gonna be unveiling how you can enter soon. So if you are a single young lady who might want to go on a date with our friend Mr. Muso here, that'll be great. Or if you know someone who's single, be prepared. This is totally legitimate. We're trying to find Muso the love of his life. So if you know a young lady, or if you are a young lady who happens to be single and looking for love, respectful young person, hardworking, loves baseball, Muse might be your guy. So we'd love for you to enter. We'll tell you how you can enter soon. I believe the contest is going to open November the 6th. That's my understanding from what came out of the meeting today. So we'll give you more info as we get closer. Okay. It's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Well, you can't go put up 3 points against Mississippi State and not have any collateral damage. Arkansas has fired offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Dan Enos effective immediately. Arkansas 2-6, winless in the SEC, and Saturday their 7-3 home loss to Mississippi State was an absolute abomination, and for it, Dan Enos fired. Wide receivers coach and former Ohio State quarterback Kenny Guyton will take over the play-calling duties for the remainder of the season.
The Auburn Tigers.
Hugh Freeze confirmed offensive coordinator Philip Montgomery is still the primary play caller. Montgomery had been really maligned with the passing offense ranking in the bottom 10 in the country. They're rotating both quarterbacks, Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford. Freeze had called plays this past week in the loss to Ole Miss. So if Auburn were to choose to move on from Montgomery at any point, they'd owe him the full buyout of his contract worth over $3 million.
The Florida Gators. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina, their leading receiver, Xavier Leggett, still questionable by Shane Beamer for the upcoming game against Texas A&M. Leggett on the year, 38 catches for 736 yards, 3 touchdowns. Left the game against Missouri in the second quarter. Did not return with what Beamer called an upper body injury. That is just the tip of the iceberg for South Carolina, which has dealt with a lot of injuries this year. They're not very good, but Beamer's hoping to get some of these guys back before they play the Aggies.
The Florida Gators.
And 5-star defensive lineman L.J. McCray committed to the Gators this weekend. McCray's the number 1 defensive lineman in the class for 2024 per On 3, the number 8 overall recruit in the country. 6'6", 280. Wow. Big get there for Napier's 2024 class. Picked Florida over Auburn, Georgia, Florida State, Miami, and others. Florida, that was the number 3 class in the country. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. I don't know if I have time. All right, I'll switch things up just a bit. We did find out definitively today, or formally, that the LSU-Alabama game will be primetime on CBS, although we knew this in May. So just as a quick reminder, this actually won't matter at all past this year, but on the way the current league contract is structured, CBS has to announce or has to declare its 2 doubleheader dates before the season starts. So remember, CBS gets a day-night doubleheader and a morning-afternoon doubleheader. So an 11 a.m. 2:30 and a 2:30 6:45 doubleheader. They get 2 over the course of the year. They have to announce those dates before the season starts. So on May 30th, CBS announced that November the 4th was the day-night doubleheader, clearly identifying that LSU-Bama was going to be the night game on CBS. So we've known this since May, but the league made it official, or CBS made it official today that LSU-Alabama will be the 6:45 kickoff prime time at Bryant-Dennehy Stadium in Tuscaloosa on CBS. So this game, the last 20 years have seen a couple of runs. I mean, LSU, starting with the year 2000 when they broke the Bama curse, winning in Tiger Stadium for the first time since 1969, LSU had a great run where they won 9 of the next 12 matchups over Alabama. But since that 2011 national championship game, Bama's won 10 of 12. I mean, LSU's only 2 wins were Joey B and the boys in 2019 and then the overtime win in Tiger Stadium last year. So we'll see if the Tigers can go on the road a week from Saturday and get it done. I asked the Otter, by the way. He said early line looking at 5.5 for the game in Tuscaloosa, Bama by 5. And he also 5.5. So here's what he said: anticipated being Bama by 5.5 with a total of 60. So for comparison's sake, the 2019 game, the line was Bama 5 and the total was 65. So similar line. They anticipated with a total of 5 more points that year. So certainly the game sailed over in that game, and I think it will a week from Saturday as well. All right, LSU-Bama officially a night game in Tuscaloosa. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We come back. I will get you up to date on the Michigan story if you haven't heard. Gonna make it. Nope, missed it. Michigan was spying on other teams and all that stuff, and it advanced today. Pete Thamel has some evidence that's been made available to the NCAA. We'll get you caught up on that. New betting favorite for the national championship. A lot to get to. Peter Burns in about 15 minutes. A lot to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. With 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV tonight, and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings at Pluckers. Again, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Pay one low price, eat as many wings as you want. Boy, what a day today. We've got two LCS games coming up in about 20 minutes. Yeah, about 20 minutes from now, Game 6, Arizona and Philadelphia. And then tonight, Game 7 with Texas and Houston from Minute Maid. You want to watch both those? Oh, did I happen to mention also that you've got Monday Night Football tonight? Niners at Vikings up there in Minnesota. So if you want to watch 2 baseball games and Monday Night Football all in one place, all you can eat wings, tonight is an awesome night to get by Pluckers. Either location, Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A prosecutor who ran over kids in a hit-and-run on False River accepted responsibility for his actions today. Chris Richard entered into a plea agreement sparing him any jail time. Richard was initially charged with felonies for the crash on the water 2 years ago. Fast forward to today, and those charges were reduced to misdemeanors, accepting a deferred sentence. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. all of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of Front to Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're with us here. A little breaking news in college football. Pete Thamel over at ESPN has the story. The Michigan staffer, Connor Stalions, the one who was allegedly spying on other teams, stealing signals. Pete Thamel's reporting that breaking news. Breaking news. A little breaking news in college football. Thank you. Per Pete Thamel over at ESPN, Michigan staffer Connor Stalions bought tickets for more than 30 games at 11 Big Ten schools over the past 3 years. Also, video evidence of sideline taping is expected to be sent to the NCAA this week, caught by stadium surveillance this year. That's so good. Apparently, your boy was buying tickets under his own name.
Are we serious? Like, really?
How callous. Like,
what an idiot.
That's so good. Yeah, no one's going to find me.
Yeah.
Do you think they just didn't know that this was against the rules? That's plausible.
I mean, it's been a rule since 1994. I don't know if that's plausible, Matt.
I didn't know this was a rule.
You're also not a head coach.
I understand that, but am I to assume that every head coach knows every single rule in the NCAA rule book?
No, I guess not.
That feels like an obscure rule, too.
But I feel like when it involves scouting the competition, they should probably be pretty well versed on those rules, considering that's kind of part of their job.
So Stallions bought these tickets and then forwarded the tickets he bought to at least 3 different people in different areas in the country. So it wasn't just him buying and going. He was buying the tickets, and then he was going to some games and forwarding the tickets to other people to go to other games in different parts of the country. Like, this is really good. Very brazen. I love it. And by the way, I don't care at all. Not one little teensy-tiny bit that Michigan staffers were going to games and trying to steal signs. I don't care at all. I mean, I can remember in middle school having coaches go scout other teams' games. Like, this was like CSAL back in the early 90s, like Most Blessed Sacrament against St. George. Hey, we're going to go watch the St. Thomas More game against St. Teresa to see if we can, scout their player. If you can glean something from that, more power to you. But I guess this is against the rule. I just don't care. I don't know yet, like, what the punishment would be. Is it fines? Is it bowl bans? Because that's the thing that becomes really interesting. Does Jim Harbaugh get suspended again? I don't know. I guess that for me is just the most interesting thing. I don't care at all about what they did or are alleged to have done. I don't care one bit, but I am very interested to know what the penalty might be, because if Michigan ends up with like postseason ban, forfeiture of games, Jim Harbaugh suspended, that becomes very impactful if it does come to that, which is why I think this is a story we all need to pay attention to, as Michigan right now, if you haven't noticed, is the new betting favorite to win the college football playoff. Michigan, after this week, after they beat Michigan State 49-0, Michigan is the new betting favorite at plus 220 to win the national championship. Georgia is second at plus 280. Also, J.J. McCarthy, their quarterback, is now the consensus betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Jaden Daniels is up to number 3, by the way. So it's McCarthy, Penix, and then Jaden. Big drop-off before you get to Jordan Travis from Florida State fourth. So Michigan clearly has a lot to gain and a lot to lose the remainder of this season based on how this investigation might go. So as it transpires, we'll continue to keep you up to date. But Pete Thamel with the report, there's evidence, like hard evidence. They have a paper trail of tickets. You're buying tickets under your own name, you idiot. I mean, the only plausible excuse is if you don't know that's against the rule. But if you're buying tickets under your name and sending them all over the country, you are a moron. But he is a Marine, so thank you for your service. You have to say that. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Well, now I got a quick break. Peter Burns will join us next here to kick off hour number 2 of AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all, the holidays are nigh. Make sure that if you're looking for something for your kiddos to do, you go register for those Traction camps. As a matter of fact, I literally just saw this less than an hour ago. Traction is already enrolling right now, registering for the spring softball league. They got coaches pitch, kids pitch, mixed, and the kids pitch, which is 12 and under. So from 12 and under, 10 and under, 8 and under, you can go register right now at TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Remember, also, we got the Thanksgiving camp, the Christmas camp, and the New Year's camps coming up this holiday season. Make sure you get your son, your daughter registered for those camps. They've got full and half-day options. If you're thinking, man, my kid's going to be out of school for a week, what are we going to do with them? Send them to Traction. TractionSports.com to register. TractionSports.com to register for any of their camps or the Spring Softball League, which is now registering. It's Traction, where champions are made.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, MLB has upheld Astros reliever Brian Abreu's 2-game suspension for intentionally throwing at Texas slugger Adolis Garcia in the ALCS, but he will serve it to start next season. As far as the starters for Game 7 tonight, Houston goes with Christian Javier, Texas counters with Max Scherzer, ESPN MLB analyst Doug Glanville.
But Scherzer's a guy like, this guy eats nails for breakfast, so, if he's on, this guy's going to give them the game that they're looking for. That's why they got Max Scherzer, right, for the big game.
Doug Glanville on Freddie and Harry, Game 7, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. ESPN is reporting Connor Stallions, the suspended Michigan staffer at the center of the NCAA's sign-stealing probe, purchased tickets in his own name for more than 30 games over the last 3 years at 11 Big Ten schools. The NCAA is expected to receive video evidence this week of illegal technology used in scouting tied to Stallions' ticket purchases. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey will play against the Vikings on Monday Night Football despite an oblique injury, 8 Eastern, ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, we saw a lot of backup quarterbacks play this weekend. I'll tell you if any of them played well enough to stay on the field. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Timmy B next hour. Looking forward to that. Right now, though, every Monday we recap the weekend that was in the SEC with our buddy Peter Burns from the SC Network.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 11 of the defense, throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field.
Yo, Peterman, what's up?
Hey, Peterman, Channel 99, breast exams, dude. What's up?
Yo, Peterman, check out Channel 9. Check out this chick. Woo! Breast exam. Woo! Oh my God!
There needs to be. Was there ever going to be? I guess you couldn't do a sequel to Office Space, right? The original is so good that there's no way that an actual sequel could live up to the hype by Mike Judge, right?
I kind of feel like if you went sequel of Office Space, it would go the same way as sequel of Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, just a money grab, just not good.
Yeah.
Are there any comedies that were good? I started thinking about
sequels.
Yeah, like comedy sequels. Like Caddyshack 2 was so bad that Bill Murray, and Chevy Chase, I think, asked for their names not to be actually in the credits. They did not want to be a part of it. That was terrible. What was the one where they go to Vegas and the guy ends up in seeing a lion?
Hangover.
Hangover. Yeah, like Hangover 2 is just an absolute grift money grab.
Well, they all
I'm trying to think of
there was a third one.
Well, and the third one was actually okay, but the second one, it was just honestly an excuse for them to cash a check and go, do the movie for 6 months in Thailand. Basically, that was it.
What about the Austin Powers
Okay,
series?
now we're talking.
Yeah.
Those are better.
And I'll give you another one. Another one that almost nailed it. Anchorman, which is one of my favorite comedies ever.
Okay.
Anchorman 2, if you go back and watch it, is actually fantastic. Until, spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it, but the movie's probably 20 years old by now. Until he goes blind. And at that point, you jump the shark, and it was ridiculous. The movie just needed to end at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Tin Cup. Tin Cup ultimately goes down as one of the greatest movies ever if the ending didn't suck. I mean, the idea that he's like backing up 3 woods on the U.S. Open, from 225 yards out, that's a bunch of BS. So, okay, anyway, hi, Matt. How are you?
What if I told you I've never seen Tin Cup?
I mean, that tracks. You march to a different drum beat, but it's good. I mean, I think you could still watch it today, and I think it's not like, oh, they're so tech-driven and stuff like that. Like, I actually worked in Kingwood, Texas when they filmed Tin Cup, and it was hilarious because I would actually, Don Johnson and Kevin Costner would show up, and I'd carry their clubs out to the golf the rental car. Yeah, it was awesome. And
that's cool.
And it was hilarious because think about how, this is 1996. I mean, I'm a sophomore in college. I'm like, dude, this is Kevin Costner. And he would always tip us like $50. It was great.
Yes.
But the funny part is this obviously is before cell phones, or like not cell phones, but just before, smartphones and anything. So I would drop off Costner and Don Johnson's clubs to their car, and there would be phone numbers and Polaroid pictures of girls on their actual windshield wipers being like, hey, saw that you're taping. This is what I look like. Give me a call. Like the old school sliding the DMs. And I always thought it was hilarious because Costner would he's like, check this out. I was like, dude, that's awesome. He's just like ripping around. And I'm like, you're a rock star. That's amazing.
So he never called any of them?
I mean, unless it was a great act. I mean, I don't think any of it was brand new to him. Although what was awesome is that Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong, of course, he's the caddy, Romeo, and the grounds crew loved him. Like every day, Cheech would come to the golf course and they're like, Cheech, what's up? I mean, and he was the nicest dude ever.
Peter, I've known you for 10 years, and I've never heard this story. That's pretty amazing, dude. That's a pretty amazing feat to be like holding on to that. Dude, that's an 8.5 out of 10 on the scale of like super interesting stories. And you've been holding on to that one for like as long as I've known you. That's a hard pull, man.
When I come in town for LSU Florida, I'll tell you about the time that I saw a European Ryder Cup team member French kiss Tiger Woods. I'll tell you that story, but only went for LSU Florida when I come into town.
Okay, is Dorian coming too?
No, he never wants to leave the studio. He is a creature of habit, and I'm like, I have to be amongst the people, because I'm all fired up. I think LSU beats Alabama coming up in 2 weeks. Not the homer pick, I think if it's a track meet, which I think it will be, I think LSU, it favors that style of fight. Okay. And so I'm torn because I'm going to take 1 weekend off. And I was like, do I go to Tuscaloosa for this game, or do I come home for the LSU game against Florida? And if I go to Tuscaloosa, then I got to be like SEC Network Peter Burns and be like all like a credential, and like I want to be sloppy. Yeah. I want to make mistakes. I want the commissioner of the conference to call me the next day and be like, was that really a good idea? Like, that's the experience I want, and I can only get that on a night game at Death Valley.
For the record, that did happen last year when Peter videoed himself celebrating the 2-point conversion against Alabama, and the video went viral, and then Greg Sankey did, in fact, call Peter Burns and say, yeah, probably not a great thing to do there, Pete. Did you get fined?
Yeah. No, but I thought I was going to get fired, and I'm like, this is not good. And then he goes, in the dry Sankey, there's 14 schools in this conference. I was like, yes, sir. And he goes, Alabama's one of them, right? And I go, yes, sir. And then basically has a long-winded pause, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. And he goes, I actually loved it. And the reason why he did, and he told me this again, is that it personalized the passion that we all have. Like Doring has that for Florida, but he's also a realist, right? Like he's not going to be a straight homer. Like I'm as hard on LSU as anybody because I want them to win so bad, right? But I'm not going to be a complete homer on it. If they're bad, you got to call it is. Like I've told you, I didn't trust this defense because the defense was atrocious. So it just means more here in this conference, man. I don't know if you know that.
I've heard that before, seen it on buildings and all that stuff. Peter Burns is with us, courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans, BlueDeltaJeans.com, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Since we've chewed up all but 2 minutes that we have left, what was interesting from this past weekend in the league? Most interesting?
That Lane Kiffin did not spend all week chirping at Auburn or their fans. Because I think he wanted the Auburn job badly. And I don't think Auburn wanted him. I think that's just the kind of the PR of how everything came out, that he wanted to stay in Ole Miss. But I thought he grew up because, each and every week when he plays Saban or each and every year, he kind of spends it on social media chirping at Alabama or saying how good Nick is and, just kind of creating this whole media firestorm. I know how bad he wanted that win in Jordan-Hare, in front of Auburn, in front of the decision makers. And he kind of quiet as Lane could be on social media, just went in there. They won a game. And then he had a little fun on the way out. But I thought that was a big moment for Lane, almost hey, learn what you screw up every year against Alabama, carry it over to Auburn, and now they put themselves in a good spot.
Okay, let's go super rapid fire, okay? 10 seconds or less. Is Missouri good?
Really good. Yeah, they're not Georgia good, but they're going to catch Georgia after the cocktail party. 70% chance Georgia wins, and then that's crazy that I'd say it's 30% Mizzou.
Arkansas, Mississippi State ended up 7-3. Is that the worst SEC game since the 2008 Auburn, Mississippi State 3-2 abomination?
Yes, those were 3 hours of my life that I could not get back. And congrats to Zach Arnett. The defense actually was really, really good if you watch that game, but my God, that's, I felt like I was watching Iowa football spring game.
That was second screen to the big one in the Big Ten. And Alabama rallied against Tennessee. More impressive at the Bama rally, more disappointed that Tennessee completely peed down its leg in the second half.
Yeah, that's if they didn't get the knockout blow, right? Like if you put Bama on the ropes, you have to finish them. A&M couldn't do it. Ole Miss couldn't do it last year, and that was the thing with Tennessee. Like Bama's good, but they're absolutely beatable. It was just a matter of them making some adjustments. So Tennessee's an 8-4, 9-3 team. And I think Bama's a 10-2 team with a loss coming to LSU.
BlueDeltaJeans.com. Hey, I have a question. On the homepage of the website, they have two models, okay? One of the models has blue jeans on. The other, and it's the male model has blue jeans on. The female model has this sort of pumpkin-colored pair of jeans. Yeah. Can men buy the pumpkin-colored? Because I really like those for the fall.
Just go in. You can go and get you a pumpkin spice latte in your pumpkin colored chinos from Blue Delta Blue Jeans. They will make your dreams and life come true.
What do you like better, the denim or the chinos? Or the
both,
performance?
I got to be honest with you, and the performance are really good for golf. I just got a pair of some powder blues that actually work really well. So they're not Ole Miss powder blues, but damn if they don't, they pop. They're pretty good. They make my butt look good too, and I have zero butt.
Oh, there you go. The Traveler mid blue chino or the performance.
No, the performance is more of a golf. The Traveler one is you look Rico Suave in it.
Got it. Okay. All right. BlueDeltaJeans.com. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Briniar Convo is here with Pete every single Monday. Thanks, dude. Look forward to talking next week.
Go watch Tin Cup, and I want to know that next week on the bye week. You got to go watch Tin Cup. It's a good watch. Rene Russo.
Peter. It's just not going to happen. I'm used to Paulie. Do either of you want to weigh in here? It's just I could tell you I'm gonna, but I'm not.
No, that's true, but I'm actually with Peter. You need to go watch it. It's a good movie.
but you know
It's good.
I'm not.
Like I guarantee you this. All right, like go watch it, and if you can text me halfway through, and if you need to tap out,
it's not
you
that.
tap out.
It's not that, Pete. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just that I don't care.
Okay. Well, I'm just.
That was an Office Space reference. No. When
you know what happened with Lundberg, right?
When Peter.
Lundberg, okay, never mind.
When Peter Gibbons is meeting with the Bobs.
Yeah, good luck on your firing.
It's not that I'm lazy.
Good luck on your firing.
It's just that I don't care. So I bust my ass and ship a few extra units. Stock price may go up, but what does that do for me? I don't see another dime. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Peter Burns on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN. Thanks, dude.
See you, bud.
All right, man. We'll see you later. That's Peter Burns. This is After Further Review. We'll get to our NFL takeaways from this past weekend. And you better believe I'm going to go heavy on a little special romance going up there in the Midwestern part of our country. A lot of takeaways from that game this weekend. I'm not just talking about what happened on the field. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, the Guaranteed Sale Program is back with Darren James. It works like this. If you're thinking about selling your home, call Darren James. He'll sit down with you. You'll agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash, or he will sell it absolutely free for his half of the commission. It's that easy. There is no catch. Sit down with Darren or call him today, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. No realtor works harder, markets your property better, and gets results like Darren James. So call him today, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, Tim Brando, 1 hour from right now. In 15 minutes, we'll talk about LSU landing another commitment for the class of 2024 over the weekend. We'll get to that right now, though. Normally, on Thursdays, we do our What to Watch, and then we come back on Monday and recap all them. We were on remote Thursday for our watch party, so we didn't do What to Watch, so we're just going to do some NFL takeaways from the weekend. Hit it, Muse. You can still hit the drop.
We watched. Now let's review.
You don't have it.
I didn't have it pulled up because I didn't think we were going to go with that.
Solid
job.
It
wasn't that segment.
Button bar. You have
a
bajillion buttons over there. Put it on one of them. Button bar. All right, Muse, fire away.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. They are the third best. Or, well, I don't want to say third best. They're a top 3 team in the AFC right now. I outside of the Chiefs and then the Dolphins, I'm not really sure who else I could really look at and be like, I would absolutely take them over the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. Trevor Lawrence is playing at a very high level. The offensive weapons that they went and got him prior to last season are showing up, and that defense has been something fierce. So I'm a big believer right now in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Not impressed at what Baltimore did yesterday.
That was good.
Throttling the line.
That was good, but that's one instance. Like, I mean, you look at the Jaguars, they've beaten the Bills. I mean, you go down the list a little bit. Played the Chiefs close. Also,
blah, 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 blah.
Well, I'm just saying.
Go down the list. Please, go down the list.
I was doing that. You interrupted me with your blah, 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 blah thing. So
I feel like all you did was just blah, blah, blah.
No, it's not. I gave them a take. I think they are a top 3 team in the AFC right now.
They were my dark horse this year.
There you go. See?
Just because I thought they'd win a bad division. They had a good quarterback. What else you got, Muse? Do yours.
Okay.
Do yours.
Oh,
go.
Sorry. All right. Sorry.
Go.
The Miami Dolphins, very good. Need some work in the big games, man. Now, I'll give it to them. Both of them were on the road, but you look at it, you go to the Bills, you get skunked 48-20. Last night, you end up losing by 2 scores on the road in Philly when you were a road favorite in that ball game, mind you. It's easy to dispatch the Giants, the Panthers, the Broncos, all those teams. Need a little bit of work in the big games if you're going to be truly elite.
So there is a stat rolling around. Hang on, I'm trying to find it. It's the Dolphins' record against teams with a winning record. Here you go. Here it is. No, here it is. Here it is. The Dolphins have not beaten a team with a winning record since they beat the Bills in Week 3 of last season.
See, that's
the only 2 teams that don't have a straight-up win over a team with a winning record in that span are the Dolphins at 0-6 and the Bears at 0-9.
Wow.
Are the Dolphins just bullies? Did they just beat up on bad teams?
It looks like that right now. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think they're good. I think they're very talented. Tua's been good, but you need the work. I mean, dude, that was a rough interception he threw at the end of that game at the goal line. It allowed Philly to go take that 2-score lead.
All right, what else you got, Muse? Hit the kaboom. There it is.
I only had those 2.
Okay, Paulie, do you have any?
Yeah. So one team we thought would be an AFC leader early in the season was the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Well, they laid a stinker against New England.
Excellent usage of the word stinker.
That's true.
Yeah. So they just didn't play well. They didn't get a lead until late in the fourth quarter, and then New England came back and won. Josh Allen was frustrated after the game. They're currently 4-3. They just don't look together. That's all I have for that one.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, my other one was I was watching the Atlanta game, and Bijan Robinson was nowhere to be found.
What was up with that?
Dude.
No injury designation. He was on the field.
That kind of took over Twitter yesterday.
Yeah. He ended up with like
free
3 yards.
Bijan. Not that I care. I mean, screw the Falcons, screw the Bucks. I don't care about either of them.
I care just a smidge because he's on one of my fantasy teams.
Oh, Paulie, how could you?
Yeah.
That's why I don't play fantasy football. Well, actually, it's one of many reasons why I don't play fantasy football. I'm not going to spend my football Sunday bemoaning Bijan Robinson not playing. You know what I want? I wanted a hole, like a sinkhole to open up in that stadium and the entire organization just to fall into it for both of them. That's what I want to do.
Agreed.
Not sitting there cheering for Bijan Robinson. Paulie, disgusting. Oh, is it my turn?
Paul, are you good?
My other one was Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit
that's fine. They lost. They lost. They got
Yeah.
blown out. All right, hit the caboose. How about what went down yesterday in Kansas City?
2-touchdown win for the Chiefs. Yeah, man. Big matchup.
Chiefs.
Division game.
They blow out the Chargers. And what a day.
For Patrick Mahomes?
Don't interrupt me. What a day for the Swifties. I'm excited about this one, Muse.
Oh, Lord.
Erica actually sat down and watched an entire game with me. And I'm a little stunned because not only did she sit there and watch the entire game with me, she was obviously watching for Tay-Tay. I was watching because it was the Chiefs and the Chargers, and it was a good game, and it was pretty interesting. But it was so interesting to sit next to a Swiftie watching the game through the lens of just Travis. Thank you,
Trailer.
Trailer. She was only looking at it through that lens. So she's on TikTok the whole game. I'm showing her Bernie Kosar's tweet, and she's like, "Oh, I already know." She's like, "All the Swifties are TikToking about it and everything like that." They're like, "Who's this old guy?" Anyway, how about this? You ready for this one? This is legit. In 4 games that Taylor Swift has been in attendance, Travis Kelce is averaging 108 receiving yards per game. When she's not there, he's averaging 46.5 yards per game receiving. Yesterday, 12 catches, 179 yards, and a touchdown. It's the best 3-game stretch of his career. Best 3. He's old. He's 34. He's not a young player. This is the best 3-game stretch of his career. He shouldn't be having the best stretch of his career at 34. Tay-Tay's got magical powers, dude. I'm telling you. This makes sense, right? He knows everybody's watching him.
Yeah.
He knows the world is watching when she's there. He knows she's there. And did you notice, like, did you see when he scored and he did, like, the heart up to the press box? Or up to
I missed that, no.
He did the heart up to her. And then when he came out during introductions, he did the arrow thing, which I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently she does that in her tour. There's a song, she does the arrow thing. So he came out during introductions and did it, like, toward her in the press box or her suite or whatever.
Riz.
I tell you. What?
Is that Riz? Yeah. There you go.
Which Riz?
It's like charisma in the dating world there. Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a pop culture reference for you, Matt, right there.
Now, that's one thing from the game there in Kansas City. Hit the little swooper. What in the world is up with Bernie Kosar? Did you see this? Did you not see this?
Well, I'll be honest. I did kind of take a little bit of a nap during that game.
But I just can't believe you haven't seen this at all. Paul, have you seen this yet?
I have not.
Oh, my God. Seriously? Bro, Bernie Kosar went viral yesterday. He takes a picture of him and Taylor at somebody's house before the game. And he tweets, watching the Browns game with Taylor Swift 13, pre-KC game. Tough to see Deshaun hurt. Then he puts in the tweet, KosarWellness.com, and like 15 hashtags. Like, if this isn't just the definition of an old man on Twitter, like, he's obviously, of course, using Taylor's influence because everybody's looking for, and he gets Kosar Wellness. This tweet was viewed 3.1 million times.
That is genius.
Bernie Kosar. Then look at the picture of Bernie and Taylor. This starts to go wild. Bernie Kosar looks creepy. Look at his tongue like sticking out the side of his mouth. Everyone's like, what is up with the creepy guy? And all the Swifties are like, who is this? They're like, well, he's actually a guy who played quarterback in the NFL for like 13 years and went to a couple of AFC championship games. But then everyone's like, well, why is Bernie Kosar, the Browns, former Browns quarterback, at this? Whose house is that, by the way, is another really legitimate question. And then we realize, well, here's a young Travis Kelce wearing a Bernie Kosar jersey because the Kelceys are from Ohio. So apparently, look at in their little hutch outfits. So there's the Kelce brothers wearing their little Bernie Kosar uniforms. So I guess they're Bernie Kosar super fans. So Bernie is at this house party pre-gaming it with Tay-Tay promoting KosarWellness.com.
This is absurd.
And there's so much to unpack with that tweet, though, isn't there?
Yes, that's why it's
why
absurd.
is Bernie there? Why is he sticking his tongue out? What is Kosar Wellness? Why does he have 15 hashtags? Why did Taylor agree to take the picture with it? Probably just because she's a good person and was willing to do it.
Yeah.
And then Muse. And then you only saw this last night, apparently.
Yeah, I saw it after Sunday Night Football had ended.
Yes, I saw it then too, but it aired all day. Several weeks back, I referenced a Snickers commercial from the 90s. That's great, man, but who are the chefs? And they have Snickers has remade this commercial with someone painting the Chiefs' end zone, and they get an assist from Andy Reid because Andy Reid comes up and talks to the guy at the end and delivers the line. Can you play the audio? Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, man, I got two things playing. But who are the chefs? He goes, that's a great job, man, but who are the chefs? The great Googly Moogly. Anyway, there's so much good about Kansas City right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're hot.
I mean, that is something else. Yes, there was a lot. I told you. I needed to unpack that entire ecosystem after yesterday. That was really good.
And oh, by the way, they're 6-1 and really, really, really good.
I mean, look at this. How about this? There's Andy Reid next to the guy doing that's great, man, but who are the chefs thing? And like someone posted this tweet, and it's like they got the throwback from '96 as well, with the player going up to the guy, the great Googly Moogly guy.
Yeah,
it's so good. Now, aren't you glad I showed you have the context now?
No, I do. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh god, I hope Scone was still watching, and he hadn't,
I'd seen it all day, but yes, I was watching it then also when it played after Sunday Night Football. Oh, and then look, and then Andy Reid, what? This was Andy Reid on Tay-Tay after the game.
Kelsey keeps getting better with time. Taylor can stay around all she wants.
Best 3-game stretch of his career. Explain it.
I can't. Look, that's one of those things where it's only crazy if it doesn't work, right?
So good. All right. There are our NFL takeaways. It's brought me and my wife closer. She's watching football with me now. I find it actually enjoyable. She's telling me about Taylor and there's a fit check, like what's Taylor wearing to the game, and that's a whole thing. And you may be annoyed by that, but I'm not. I think it's great.
Did you like the handshake with Brittany Mahomes? Was that too much?
No, you know what? Have fun.
Okay.
And then the other thing too is like her whole TikTok is nothing but Taylor Swift. Erica on Saturday night, she didn't watch the LSU game. Erica and a friend went to the movie theater to watch the Taylor Swift concert at the movie theater. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How that's the whole thing
movie,
now?
Yeah, they made it into a movie.
They're just showing the concert at the theater. So she went to that on Saturday. So she's all in, pot committed to Taylor Swift. But I forgot what I was going to say.
It was we started with Brittany Mahomes and her handshake.
Brittany Mahomes. So Erica, her whole TikTok is just people at the Chiefs games who are filming Taylor. So she's getting all the cell phone videos. So, and there's all these ones of Taylor like having a good time, and then like she'll recognize that people are looking at her, and then she'll do like a crazy thing and play to the camera, and then the people go nuts. It's pretty good news. For someone worth about $1 billion, who's the most famous entertainer on the planet, pretty down to earth. It puts that out anyway to be kind of down to earth.
I think that's why she has the following she does.
I would say so. All right. Anyway, it's after further review. Respect to the Swifties. But listen, I know a lot of you probably want us to start talking about LSU and Bama. But listen, that game in Bryant-Dennehy Stadium is a week from Saturday. We got almost 2 weeks to talk about it. We'll get there. All right, it's after further review. When we come back, I will talk some football that you might care about. LSU picked up another commitment over the weekend. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Y'all, last Monday, so 1 week ago, The state of Louisiana opened its second round of fortified roofing grants. Been telling you about fortified roofing for years now because HUDCO was Louisiana's first certified fortified roofing company. So up to $10,000 in grants for Louisiana homeowners to fortify your roof. HUDCO can help. Go to the website, hudcoroofing.com, hudcoroofing.com. On the homepage, you'll see the green fortified button. Click that green fortified button. You can learn more about fortified roofing, and there's a contact form. It'll take you 10, maybe, it depends on how fast you type, 30 seconds or less to fill out the form. We'll be in touch with you. Fortify your roof. Take advantage of this Louisiana grant program, up to $10,000 to fortify your roof, and we can help at HUDCO Roofing. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Brian Kelly and the fellas got a commitment over the weekend from P.J. Woodland. He's a 3-star athlete out of the state of Mississippi. I'll give you some of the specs, then I'll give you a reaction to it. So, P.J. Woodland, 3-star, 6 foot, 165-pounder. He's the number 19 overall athlete in the country. So he's listed as an athlete, but LSU's recruiting him as a defensive back, so he'll play corner in Baton Rouge. So the number 19 athlete in the country, a guy who was committed to Mississippi State, and then last week decommitted from Mississippi State. LSU put on the full court press along with Ole Miss there in state and Auburn as well. And then LSU ultimately got the commit. Woodland was in Baton Rouge for the LSU-Auburn game and then was supposed to go to Alabama-Tennessee and decided to come back to Baton Rouge this weekend for the LSU-Army game. So you knew LSU was in a really good spot right there. This is an obvious replacement for Andre Evans. Andre Evans was the longtime LSU commit out of the Nashville area who last week flipped from LSU to Georgia. So it left a hole in LSU's class, and ultimately they get P.J. Woodland to commit, flipping him from Mississippi State. So a couple of things. I know the tendency usually is when you see a guy that's a 3-star, you tend to maybe to not be as impressed. I think that's probably just natural that we would kind of fall into that trap of seeing a guy that's not highly rated. For example, he's a 3-star. The On3 industry ranking has him as the number 559 overall player, the number 19 athlete in the country, the number 18 player in the state of Mississippi. So you might go, man, you lost a high 4-star that flipped to Georgia, and now you get a 3-star. One of the things that I often say is I'm not necessarily concerned with a player's star ranking or rating as much as I am with who he has offers from, because that is far more telling. And look at P.J. Woodland's offer list. His offer list is everybody. Of course, he committed to LSU. He had been committed previously to Mississippi State. So look at this offer list. LSU, Ole Miss, Tulane, Texas, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida State, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Cincinnati, Louisville, Southern Miss. You got some of the smaller schools, UNLV mixed in there as well, Memphis. So this goes to tell you Arkansas State, ULL, Georgia State. This goes to show you, and it tells you the story. This was a guy who going into his senior year was listed about 5'11", 155, undersized guy, had a lot of G5 offers, and had an offer from Mississippi State. Well, he goes and camps at different places, performs really well, gets bigger throughout his senior season. You're seeing a late bloomer, a guy who, as he's going from 16 to 17 to 18 years old, is coming into his own and developing, and he's getting on everybody's radar. So, yes, you could look at him right now as a 3-star and number 559 nationally or whatever it is that they have him in that composite. But really what's important is look at all the offers that he has. That's a dude who clearly, as he's gone along his high school career, has continued to improve and get all these offers. And that ranking will follow. Usually as you go through a senior year and they update rankings, and then right before signing day, you'll see the final rankings, not only the November signing period, or the December signing period, but then also the traditional signing period in February when you'll have the final rankings. So let's see what that looks like if you're someone who concerns yourself with star ratings. Mostly what I look at is I go, this dude had offers from everybody. I mean, it's a situation where it's pretty clear. I'll give you an example of someone LSU didn't get. Keon Coleman. We all know that name now because he's killing it at Florida State. But that was a kid out of Opelousas who was a Tulane commit. I want to remind you, Keon Coleman was a Tulane commit. Late in the process, he finally gets a Power 5 offer from Michigan State. Goes up to East Lansing, keeps growing, developing, getting better. Transfers to Florida State. Now he's a first-round pick projection. Sometimes dudes get better from 18, 19, 20 than they do at 15, 16, 17. And maybe that's the case here with P.J. Woodland as you're catching him late in his high school career on the way up. And let me also remind you, this is a kid from Mississippi who had been committed to in-state Mississippi State. Ole Miss was pressing him late after the decommit, And you got this kid out of Mississippi away from Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So that's a win. 2 teams in your division, and you went into that state and got a player that you wanted. And it was a player at a position that you needed, right? You've got 3 cornerback commits already with Juwan Johnson out of LCA, Wallace Foster out of Warren Easton in New Orleans, and then Kai Bates, who's a 4-star out of Orlando. You had Andre Evans out of Tennessee who flipped to Georgia, and so now getting P.J. Woodland, that sort of replaces that spot where you had Andre Evans. So you've got 4 commitments for this class at corner to go along with a few safeties as well, including Deshaun McBride, who's the highest-rated commit in your class. And then you look at the cornerback room for next year. Zy Alexander can return if he wants. J.K. Johnson should be, the Ohio State transfer who's missed this season with the foot injury, should be back, healthy, see how he might look. I think it's fair to say right now, Deuce Chestnut, Denver Harris, their futures are up in the air. I think that's fair to say. Certainly Deuce Chestnut. We'll see about Denver Harris. And then you've got a lot of young scholarship guys that are developing. LaTerrence Welch is getting a lot of playing time this year. Guys like Ashton Stamps, Jeremiah Hughes. Stamps was not dressed this past weekend, but Hughes got his first playing time. Ryan Robinson is another scholarship guy that you have. And then the 4 commits you have right now, and that's before you even look at what might be there in the transfer portal. So LSU's being diligent, trying to rebuild the cornerback room through the high school ranks to build your numbers up with scholarship players out of the high school ranks and then supplementing with the portal. The last 2 years, you've had to do the majority of your heavy lifting at that position through the portal. Now what you've been able to do now is come behind with 2 recruiting classes to build your numbers with the young guys and supplement at the top with the portal, which you may have to do 1 more year. But instead of going to get 4 corners out of the portal, maybe you get 1. If there's a really good corner out of the portal that would make sense to bring in, that could be a day 1 starter for you. But overall, you can see what they're doing. It's nice they're rebuilding that room after it was a depressed number after the COVID year, then after Ed Ogeron got fired, and you had Ricks and McGlothern leave, and then you had Raydarius Jones and Demarius McGee transfer out, and you just had no numbers. LaTerrence Welch was your only guy you had recruited out of the high school ranks that was still here. You're building that back. It's taken 2 cycles, but you're building those numbers back up again, and P.J. Woodland out of Mississippi is the latest. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. You know where to find them. And we've been telling you, of course, a lot of you have heard about semaglutide for weight loss. They've got it at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 2. We'll come back. We'll do Tigers in the Pros. Muse will do Tigers in the Pros. Aaron Nolik, Calici, is on the bump. We need to get that game on. He's on the bump right now for the Phillies as Game 6 of the NLCS is going on. Then we'll see a couple of former Tigers as well in Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. We'll recap the full weekend of LSU guys in the NFL when we come back. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance downtown. Let me remind you, Oktoberfest at Tallulah inside the Renaissance is coming up on Wednesday. This Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m., and we have 5 pair of tickets to give away. This is food from Tallulah, and this is beverages from Noel Family Distillery and Rally Cap Brewing. We got 5 pair of tickets to give away. If you're interested, text me #Renaissance to win. We got 5 pair of tickets we'll give away. So text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400 with the #Renaissance if you're interested in going to Oktoberfest this Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Tallulah, right there inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet, a gorgeous hotel property. And make sure you discover Tallulah inside the Renaissance.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A prosecutor who ran over kids in a hit and run on False River accepted responsibility for his actions today. Chris Richard entered into a plea agreement sparing him any jail time. Richard was initially charged with felonies for the crash on the water 2 years ago. Fast forward to today, and those charges were reduced to misdemeanors, accepting a deferred sentence. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, let's start with Major League Baseball as the Diamondbacks Phillies are in progress. Aaron Nola on the mound for Philadelphia. Yeah, 2 innings so far. Just gave up a 3 spot. Did Nola. Phillies trail at 3-0 in the bottom of the second. Long way to go, but they do need Nola to kind of settle in. He's at 47 pitches right now through the 2 innings. Again, the 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, and 4 hits.
We got this.
He'll settle in. He'll settle in. And he'll be all right. And Phillies can start chipping away. Man, they've been really tough at the bank all postseason.
It's like that regional game against Sam Houston State where he had like 50 pitches in the first inning and then didn't give anything up the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I think he actually ended up throwing like 7 innings that night. So
let's go.
That was pretty good.
LFG. Calica.
There it is. He's back. The Astros lost 9-2 last night, and Alex Bregman went 0 for 3. He did draw a walk. That's great. The best thing that happened in the Astros game last night, though, Matt, was the guy in the right field bleachers. Did you see this? Or seats, I should say. Did you see this? Great catch. It's a home run ball. I mean, no giving the arm. Just sticks it up. It's like Smalls in Sandlot. Stick your glove in the air. I'll take care of the rest. That's what it was. Of more consequence, did you notice what he was wearing?
Yes.
LSU baseball jersey, the all white, the Tigers across the chest, fitted LSU cap. Our guy was decked out.
It's like he was ready to play the game. And
Yeah.
he didn't move.
No.
I mean,
I would say, stick your glove in the air and I'll take care of the rest. Except he didn't have a glove. Bare hands it. Love
incredible.
to see. Yeah, look, I don't know who that guy is. Maybe we can find him.
So nonchalant,
Yeah.
too.
a hat tip to Eric Hammond. He sent me that on Twitter last night, and then all of a sudden it just started popping up everywhere. And I was just like, oh, yeah, we're featuring this guy. He's a winner. Shout out. That's what happens. Even the fans at LSU make great plays. NFL action to get to here a little bit. Grant Delpit, double-digit tackles, 10 of them yesterday for the Browns and their victory over the Colts. That led the Browns team. He also had one of those coming for a loss. Patrick Queen, solid day, 5 tackles for him. Odell Beckham Jr., 5 receptions for 49 yards in that game as the Ravens score a massive win over the Detroit Lions. And then Jamal Adams, 6 total tackles and 1 pass defense in the Seahawks win over the Arizona Cardinals. As far as I know, no run-ins with any concussion doctors on the sidelines for Jamal this week, which is a good thing.
It's a win.
It's a win. That is a win. And lastly, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj. Reports.
You want to hit the bomb?
Oh, yeah, the Woj bomb.
Hit it. Come on, man.
Woj bomb. I forgot I had that, actually.
Buttons over there.
I forgot I had that one. We haven't used it in a while. We haven't used that one in a while.
I wish I had those buttons.
The Portland Trailblazers are signing center Duop Reith to a 2-way contract. Sources tell ESPN. And Woj. Reith has played with the Blazers in the preseason and the Summer League. He was a starter for Australia in the FIBA World Cup, you might remember, and had stops in Serbia and China since donning the purple and gold. That is...
It stops in China.
That's Tigers and the Pros.
All right. By the way, did you do the KJ Williams story last week that I sent you?
I did do the KJ Williams story last week. I didn't remember if we did
the story.
Yes.
Okay. KJ Williams signed with the Thunder last week.
That was Thursday, I think I did that.
Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, Lafayette, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all. Sports Center's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, more trouble for the New Orleans Saints. Timmy B coming up in 20 minutes. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Put a button on hour 2, brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. I tell you what, at Shaw Bills, they treat you like family. I've told you that for years. You buy tires, auto service, all of it. People buy their tires there because they'll sell name brand tires at wholesale prices. Keep coming back year after year after year because they'll treat you like family. But it's not just their customers. Of course, it's the employees as well. When you're a Shaw Bills employee, you're like family there as well. It's why they have the best benefits for their employees, from retirement benefits to insurance and time off to a tool purchase program. Shaw Bills is just the best. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. If you're interested in learning more or working at Shaw Bills, you can apply online or in person at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. For more than 50 years, locations all over Louisiana. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
Here at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get 1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Diamondbacks have gotten on the board first in a must-win in Game 6 against the Phillies. NLCS, Tommy Pham, Lourdes Gurriel, back-to-back solo shots off Aaron Nola. Evan Longoria added an RBI double. Arizona leading Philadelphia 3-1, bottom second. Tonight, Astros and Rangers clash in a winner-take-all Game 7 ALCS. Houston starts Christian Javier. Texas goes with Max Scherzer. ESPN MLB analyst Tim Kirkjian.
This is exactly why they traded for him, so he could win Game 7. Unfortunately, it will only be his second start since September the 12th. You have to wonder how sharp he's going to be, but they're throwing a first-ballot Hall of Famer out there for Game 7.
In 2019, Scherzer pitched in a Game 7 in Houston when he and the Nationals won the World Series. ESPN's reporting Connor Stallions, the suspended Michigan staffer at the center of the NCAA's sign-stealing probe, purchased tickets in his own name for more than 30 games over the last 3 years at 11 Big Ten schools. The NCAA is expected to receive video evidence this week of illegal technology used in scouting tied to Scallions' ticket purchases.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, we saw a lot of backup quarterbacks play this weekend. I'll tell you if any of them played well enough to stay on the field. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Timmy B in 13 minutes. Look forward to having Tim Brando with us as we move here through the 5 o'clock hour on this Monday. Tigers into their open date. And, of course, the Saints with a bit of a long week before they get ready to head up to Indy to take on the Colts. I would imagine the Saints used the few days off there, not only to heal, but to do a little bit of reflection on how they can improve. As a matter of fact, Dennis Allen met with reporters on Monday and acknowledged situational offense is red zone, different things like that are what they focused on here with these extra days.
When you have a few extra days, it kind of gives you a little bit more opportunity to really
kind of dive into some of the things. I will say from an offensive perspective, situational football, I think, is one thing that it has to be better, because I think, like I said, the last couple of weeks, I feel like I think we move the ball at times, and yet we stall out in the red zone or we're unable to convert third down. So, that's something that we've, kind of taken a look at and figuring out some things that we can do better in those areas.
There are two really significant questions, I think, that everyone wants answered right now, and Dennis Allen got asked one of them on Monday.
Did you determine any substantial changes in coaching staff, personnel, or anything that will be noticed right away?
No. We'll, if we decide to make some changes, we'll let you know.
So, I think everybody's curious. Do you stick with Pete Carmichael? Do you make a change? And as of right now, they're going to stick with what they got. After that loss to Jacksonville, while the team has had more time to heal and sort of self-scout and move forward, it's given us a lot of time as well, us being all of us collectively, to sort of look at and dig into what's going on. And one of the comments from a Jacksonville defender after the Thursday night game, the Saints loss on Thursday, that got the most attention is what safety Rayshon Jenkins said about Derek Carr after the game. And the quote is, quote, "We know that's Derek Carr's game. He's going to check down, check down, check down. We just have to win the game down the field, and that was the mindset of the DBs. We'll let him have the check downs. We'll come up, rally, tackle that, and get rid of the shot plays." You got another NFL player and starting NFL safety essentially acknowledging that they all know that your quarterback is a check down Charlie. That's just what he does. Many of you probably have seen this by now. I'm sure there's a lot of you who haven't. And I want to reference it just to add some color to a story, a picture that we all see. And it's courtesy of J.T. O'Sullivan. If you don't remember, J.T. O'Sullivan was a former 6th-round pick of the Saints back in 2002. And J.T. O'Sullivan played 13 years of professional football across 11 different NFL teams and multiple other leagues as well. So what he's doing now is a YouTube channel called the QB School. And he essentially does film review from a quarterback's perspective of different quarterbacks. And this week, he did a Week 7 analysis of Derek Carr in the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I will warn you that this might only be good if you're a masochist. This felt like a 43-minute root canal if you're a Saints fan. And if you watch it, which I would highly recommend you do, you'll find yourself just face-palming repeatedly. Because it's a lot of stuff that, to an untrained eye, you know what's happening, but when someone who knows what they're looking at points it out, there's like a ding, a light bulb that goes off, and you realize, yes, that's why what's happening is happening. I pulled a clip, and I understand most of you are listening, not watching. If you're watching, you're going to see, as J.T. O'Sullivan explains this, it's the play that I highlighted is the one where Derek Carr damn near got Foster Moreau killed at the goal line. And if you're watching, you'll see it as he's describing. And if you're just listening, that's fine, because you're going to get the gist. Really what I want you is hear the way a veteran quarterback who knows what he's looking at describes what transpired on this play. Give a listen.
First of all, this play is not for me. But if you want to throw more fades or have more fade opportunities, the Saints certainly haven't read about probability. So that's the first part of it. The second part here are the stick routes. Okay, I personally, once you get past JV football, don't love mirrored routes like this in the red zone.
Ooh.
So that's the stick element. And then the check down element is right here. Now, we know we love a good check down. Okay, it looks like Carr goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's rough.
He's pointing out the progression.
That's rough. And again, I'm not saying that 2 is open on time. I'm not saying that this is nothing about this is good. But going 1, 2, 3, 4 is not great. And it is really fortunate right here that this thing isn't an interception.
Okay,
maybe you could hang
enough.
on that
That's
stick.
enough. In that 30-second clip, you heard him say, "This play is not for me." Maybe the Saints don't know about probability. Throwing a fade right there in that spot. Once you get past JV football, you stop running routes like this. We know he loves a good check down. Nothing about this is good. You don't have to be watching that clip to hear that and realize, And I understand what a lot of you are going to say. You're going to say, well, what does JT O'Sullivan know? He stunk. Okay. But he was a 6th-round pick. He played for the Saints, the Frankfurt Galaxy in NFL Europe, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, New England Patriots, Carolina Panthers, Frankfurt again, Chicago Bears again, Detroit Lions, the Niners, Bengals, Chargers, Raiders, and then the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the CFL. He played for 15 different organizations. So in his bio, he says, I probably know more about quarterbacks than anybody because I've been in more systems than anybody. And when you've been in 15 different organizations, that many coordinators, that many systems, that many concepts, you know what you're looking at over that amount of time. So, yeah, I think he's super valid in the way he describes it. And whether he has the terminology right or wrong or what the Saints do is irrelevant. The point is, time and again, he's describing elementary, fundamental things that a quarterback in year 10 is messing up. And not just a quarterback in year 10, but a quarterback in year 10 who the Saints have $150 million invested in. And that is the heart of the issue. Because a lot of you are going to say, and I got a lot of this over the weekend, hey, is it time to give Jameis a shot? Yeah, sure. But they're not going to. They've got $150 million invested in Derek Carr. They have got to make sure they do everything to maximize the return on that investment. Yo, Russell Wilson in Denver. Take it outside of New Orleans. Russell Wilson in Denver is 5-16 as a starter. They brought in Sean Payton and gave up draft assets to hopefully help maximize Russell Wilson. It ain't working, but they're sticking with it because they've got a ton of cash and draft capital invested in that player. So you got to keep trying. It's where the Saints are right now as well. You are pot committed to Derek Carr. So no, you're not playing Jameis. Maybe he could make you better. It don't matter. The real question is, will the Saints acknowledge this blunder, this expensive blunder, and draft a quarterback this year and start to groom the inevitable replacement? That's the real question that needs to be asked this ownership group and front office. Are you willing to acknowledge this mistake and draft his replacement? Or do you keep trying to force feed this thing? That's not going to work. We'll see. Okay. It's after further review. Timmy B joins us next. This will be fun. Looking forward to it. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. Man, I've really enjoyed being able to tell you about and introduce so many of you to Glow Resources. If you are a business owner and you have had staffing issues, whether you keep hiring the wrong people or you've tried other staffing companies, let me be very clear. Glow Resources is not a temp staffing agency. That's not what they do. They work for you, the business owner. Their goal is to make sure you get the right employee the first time to save you money and make you more efficient. And they handle everything. They specialize in skilled blue-collar workers, welders, crane operators, across dozens of different industries, even the admin side. If it's civil construction, maritime is huge. Service companies, appliances, Gigantic companies. Glow Resources helps them all. And they're not just in Baton Rouge. They have clients all over the world. GlowResources.com. GLO, GlowResources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Love catching up with our guy, Timmy B. Tim Brando, Fox Sports. Good to spend a couple of minutes here. Timmy B, how are you, man?
Matt Moscona, I could not be better. Great to be with you, pal.
Man, we appreciate the time so much. I feel like I'm spending 2 days a week with you because you've drawn so many double assignments throughout the year, calling like a Thursday or Friday game, then a Saturday game. By the way, what's a travel week like for you whenever you when you have to do 2 games in a week?
Well, the first thing you do is you do your homework on the last game first and the first game last, if you get my drift. In other words, make sure that you've gotten all of the paperwork done, your boards, depth charts, everything that you need to do, your anecdotal material, meetings with coaches, the away coaches Zoomed, the home coaches you're probably going to do when you get there. But try to get that taken care of as quickly as you can. The second game is always going to be Zoomed with the coaches because you have to get to them earlier in the week. They know that you're going to do a game on Thursday or Friday. And so you need to talk to them probably on Tuesday, okay? So I'm getting everything done for my skeleton charts to be ready on Monday.
Yeah.
And then go through the depth charts and meet with the coaches via Zoom on Tuesday. Then by Wednesday, I've totally forgotten what I'm doing with the second game.
Right.
Second game is gone. Forget it.
Right.
I'm now concentrating on the first game, which is going to be on either Thursday or Friday. And you leave very, very early on Wednesday to get to the Friday game or the Thursday game. When you get to the site, you probably meet with the sports information people, find out if there were any changes, anybody got hurt, anybody that's on the – and we say 2 deep, but frankly, it's always 3 deep in college football. In fact, in some places it might be 4 deep, where there's an embarrassment of riches, like Texas, for example, who does have at least 4 guys at some spots on the field, both offensively and defensively. And then you do the games. And then by the time you're through with the first game, you just shelve all that information, totally forget about it, and then you go right to your working depth chart for the second game, and you hone in on that. So you're not going to be confused if you're only concerned about what's first and foremost that needs to be on your mind. So I like to say last game first, first game last. It's challenging but fun, especially if the games are good. And for the most part, my games this year have been.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, when I come home, usually on a red eye from a West Coast flight, I'm a walking zombie on Sundays, but my wife's accustomed to that. She's been through that before. So 45 years to this, and she's accustomed to it.
I hear you, man.
But it's a blast. Getting to do what we do is a lot of fun. And this past week, we were at Houston for the Texas game, and it turned out to be a great one at the end, as you know. And Terry got to go with me, and we had a really good time. If the game had been played, if the Astros and Rangers had gone in the afternoon yesterday, we were going to stay, but the game was a night game, and I needed to get her home, so we wound up watching it on TV. But it was good to finally do a game in the Central Time Zone. I've been spending a lot of time either in the Eastern Time Zone or the Western Time Zone, the Pacific Time Zone. And when you do 2 games in 2 days, and crossing 3 different time zones, that will lead to a little jet lag. I don't care how old you are, or how young you are.
I can imagine, man. You mentioned being in the Western Time Zone. Do you feel like the Pac-12 is ultimately going to cannibalize itself this year with respect to the playoff?
No,
okay.
I don't. I think at least one team is going to emerge. Now, will that one team have one loss? Possibly. But I think the league is too good not to have one team emerge. The conference has been, we've got 7 teams ranked as recently as last week. I don't know what it is this week, but we've had 7 teams out of the top 25 ranked as recently as I think last week. And, I'll see Washington this week. They play at Stanford on the farm. They had their clunker this past weekend. First bad game Washington's played, really, and it was against Arizona State, which is easy to have happen. USC, the early signs of USC dismantling came in the game that we had on a double dip. We had done a game, Purdue and Wisconsin, on a Thursday, flew out to the desert, did Arizona State, hosting USC. USC was mailing it in. They were having problems. Caleb Williams was dropping good snaps from center. You could just see that they were not honed in. They were not concentrating. And that they had slippage. There was some serious slippage with their defense. And this kid, Cam Scattaboo from Sacramento State, who played for Troy Taylor a year ago, they won the FCS. I mean, he ran roughshod through him. Well, the same thing happened with the same kid in Seattle last week as Washington laid an egg. Their first real bad performance. And they had been really murdering everybody, and Penix looked as good or better than anybody in the Heisman race, really, up until that game. And now they go to Stanford, and when you go to Stanford, the tree shows up and about 250 other people, and you should have a home field for no matter who you are in the Pac-12. When you go to Stanford, you'll have a home field for the game. But Washington's got to. They've got a good enough defense to go along with offense that I think that they can run all the way to the Apple Cup and be undefeated. And I think, frankly, Oregon has the tougher road to hoe because they've got to play Oregon State in the Civil War at the end of the year. That's a one-loss team right now with Uiagalelei playing
Yeah.
now at a very high level, and they've got great runners. The defense is outstanding for Jonathan Smith. Oregon State is a team that you want to dodge as best you can in the Pac-12 to go along with Utah. You know, Utah now seemingly has found their quarterback. When we last saw them, which was at Oregon State, Bryson Barnes had not found his game yet, and they were kind of going back and forth between he and the other quarterback. And now after what he did against USC, you know, the Utes are still a factor. So, yeah, could they cannibalize? Yes. Will they? When you say cannibalize, does that mean eliminate themselves from the college football playoff? And I think even a one-loss Pac-12 team is likely to get in. You know, this notion that everybody thinks that all the teams that are in the major conferences are going to run the table, I don't see that at all, Matt. I don't. I think we're going to have a lot of carnage between now and the end of the season, no matter what league we're talking about.
It's November. I mean, it's November football. There's always upsets in November when you get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So let me get a thought on Oklahoma, because I mean, Timmy B, that's another one that I mean, the only ranked opponent they play all year is Texas, which they beat. They're up to number 6 in the country. But man, there's just look at this past weekend, man. There's booby traps all over everybody's schedule.
Hey, they're in trouble with Kansas this week. Just mark it down right now. Lance Leipold may have Jalen Daniels ready to go. Daniels, instead of being at quarterback, is worth an extra 6 to 7 points for Kansas. The game is at KU. They are a nightmare to prepare for. Pre-snap movement. Kansas has got their Andy Kotelnicki, who is their offensive coordinator, and he's been with Leipold his entire career. He's just unreal. They were together at Whitewater, they were together at Buffalo, and now at Kansas. And they do things that nobody else does. And trust me, that what happened with UCF last week is not a mirage. Okay, getting John Rice Plumlee back into that position at quarterback made UCF a much more difficult team to match up against, and he really brought some trouble to Norman. And I think that should be a yellow flag for everybody, that Oklahoma could be in for upset alert by going to Kansas. The Jayhawks are tough, and they are really tough when Daniels can play the position. And he's been in and out of the lineup, you know, since really, week 4 of last year.
Yeah.
But having him back, means as much to Kansas as the Daniels kid means to LSU, okay? I mean, he's that good and has that much of an impact on what they do offensively in terms of combining the run game with the passing game. They've got to throw it a lot more when Bean is the quarterback versus when Daniels is, because Daniels is a dual threat, very, very similar to the guy that you've got in Baton Rouge.
Got 2 more for you. Tim Brando's with us on Twitter at Tim Brando. So let me then ask you, I'm asking kind of a similar question about all these leagues. I'll get your thoughts on LSU in a sec, but Big Ten, is Michigan that much better than everybody else in that league right now?
Well, they are certainly tougher than everybody else in the league right now. Ohio State's defense, Jim Knowles, the old defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State, that put together that great team that should have probably played for the national title a couple of years ago when Oklahoma State blew it in the Big 12 title game against Baylor, you might recall.
Oh, yeah?
Knowles' defense now, last year he was running the same kind of defense he had at Oklahoma State, but he did not have the right guys. He had real linebackers, not converted safeties or hybrids playing outside linebacker. And so what happened against Michigan was they got hit with big plays. They were good overall in defense, but they gave up too many explosives. And the reason for that was his linebackers were too slow. I mean, they just were. Now he's got linebackers that are sleek, guys that are really quick, and they're not giving up big plays. So that makes Ohio State's defense a lot better than it was this time a year ago. But they're not as tough as Michigan is tough. Michigan knows who they are, and more than anything else, they've got a quarterback in McCarthy that his numbers are never going to be gaudy because of the way they're built. You know, they're a run-first team. But I think especially after what happened last week with Penix having a bad game, Caleb Williams, I think we can erase him. He's going to keep doing Wendy's commercials and Dr. Pepper commercials and waiting for another, piece of an NFL team. So good for him. But we can pretty much write him off with a Heisman. I think that McCarthy is the guy that when you look at the numbers, you say, well, we're not that impressed with him. But it's not about numbers when you're beating Ohio State, if you are beating them, in the month of November. And if you are handling Penn State at Penn State, which is a game they've got to navigate between now and then. So, I think Michigan is the class of the league. I've still got them number one in my top 10. And frankly, why wouldn't you have them there? Michigan returns more to their team from a year ago than Georgia does to their team. Georgia is a paper number one, if ever there were a paper number one, especially with Bowers out. Where are their playmakers on the edge? Michigan's got a lot more playmakers at wide receiver right now than Georgia does. Georgia benefits more from a god-awful schedule than even Michigan does up to this point. Don't get me wrong. I've still got Georgia number two, but I think that's a mishap in waiting too. I think Georgia could have their bad game. They had one at Auburn, got away with it, but you know what? They could have another one as well. Look out for Missouri here, okay? Drinkwitz's team, you guys saw them. That's not a bad club. If Georgia is forced to score a lot of points to win a game, I think they're just like Alabama. They've not played 60 minutes in a game yet. They haven't. Until somebody makes them play 60 minutes for their offense to score points, then I'm not sure of just how good Georgia really is this year.
Michigan did overtake Georgia as the betting favorite, the odds-on favorite to win the national championship. Barely, but they are now the betting favorite over the Georgia Bulldogs. He's on Twitter at Tim Brando. Before you go, I'd love a thought. I don't know, Timmy B, how much you've gotten to see of LSU this year and Jaden Daniels, but man, it is incredible what he is doing offensively. It is actually. I thought we'd never see anything remotely close to what we saw with Burrow in 2019. But the numbers are. Look, he's going to fall about 1,000 yards short of all of Burrow's totals. Burrow had 15 games, though. The averages are looking like it, man. What have been your thoughts on watching Daniels this year?
Historically great, short of Burrow, right?
Yeah.
If you said before Burrow, right, BB, when you're looking at LSU, right? Before Burrow, he would have been the best ever. Post Burrow, PB, you're talking about next best. And listen, our friends in T-Town who just love to hammer Timmy B on Twitter whenever the LSU-Alabama game comes up, as you well know, they are waiting with bated breath to come after me. But I got news. LSU's going to win that game. They are going to win that game.
Okay.
And they might win that game by more than people think. Alabama has not been forced to play defense to keep people out of an end zone against a dynamic offense yet. They simply haven't. Tennessee, Milton started 9 of his first 9 of 10, whatever, he had it going. And then all of a sudden, in the second half, Alabama decided to turn it up. They've played either the first half of the game or they played either a second half of the game. To this point, Alabama has not played anybody on their schedule that's forced them to play 60 minutes. I'm convinced LSU is a team that will do that. Now, will Alabama have their success against LSU's D? As great as LSU's offense is, I think we could say up until maybe the game with Arkansas, possibly they were historically bad, or Auburn maybe, but maybe part of that was Auburn was bad too. But LSU's defensive weaknesses seem to be improving. Just like Alabama's offensive problems have slowly improved, Matt, I think LSU's defensive problems have improved as well. So the question becomes, which one has improved the most to be less of a liability for the other side of the ball? And for me, LSU's offense is so much better, and so much more explosive than Alabama's offense, then I think if the defense gets just, 20% better, than they were 3 weeks ago. That's good enough to beat Alabama, because Alabama's defense has had to be so great because Alabama's offense lacks punch, it lacks juice, it lacks explosive capability. All you've got to do is force Milroe to stay in a pocket and force Milroe to beat you with his arm, not his legs. And I think that all you need to do is pull out the blueprint of what Pete Kwiatkowski of Texas did against Alabama, and that's the recipe for victory. Does LSU have enough offense to overcome the weaknesses on their D in Tuscaloosa? I think they do.
Tim Brando calling his shot, man. I'm going to be interested to see how many people side with LSU in this game as we build up for 2 weeks toward LSU and Alabama. Timmy B, you're the best, man. We always appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Safe travels this week. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, boy, I can't wait to hear from those Bammers. Make sure you get that out, baby.
We'll clip it. Clip it. We'll clip it. All right, Timmy B, thanks, man. Be well.
See you. All right, Matt. Take care.
That is the one and only Tim Brando. He said, I can't wait to hear from the Bammers. Put it out there. You heard the man. Put it out there. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Simply the best. All the different IIHS top safety picks. You want the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. The great safety features without the cost. The great German engineering manufactured right here in the USA at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. Go see our friends at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. At South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay. Thanks to Timmy B. Great stuff from Timmy B. Peter Burns was here last hour. By the way, Peter Burns called his shot early, picking LSU to beat Alabama. Timmy B, and I didn't even ask him. They offered that prediction without me even asking. Maybe Nick Saban sitting over there in Tuscaloosa just chewing on that rat poison right now. Anyway, well, now I got a quick break. We'll come back. Our college football takeaways from this weekend. A lot to do still. Otter Locks in about 12 minutes or so. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. There's a pretty cool event coming up at Rouse's. It's going to be the Tackle Hunger event. You can get more info at their website. And they're teaming with the New Orleans Saints. It starts November the 3rd at a Mobile location. They'll be down in Houma, Metairie. The Baton Rouge event is coming up on Friday, November the 18th. Go to rouses.com, and you can learn more about Tackle Hunger and what they're doing, basically how you can help donate all the way through Super Bowl Sunday. The new initiative with the New Orleans Saints, it'll feature Rouse's, of course, Saints greats, alums, and the food and the funds raised will go a long way to replenish local food banks. So a really cool thing that they're doing. So many of the food banks are still thin post-Ida. So Rouse's is taking the initiative as a great community partner. Rouse's.com. Learn more there. Rouse's. This feels like home.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
We have truckloads of inventory rolling in at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. And you can take advantage of 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Brian Kelly will meet with reporters on Tuesday. Remember, Monday, because it's an open date, there was no Brian Kelly press conference today, but he does have media availability with reporters after practice tomorrow. So we anticipate we'll get an update on some of the injuries tomorrow after practice to see how they're trending in the open week. The one that clearly we're looking for and paying attention to most is Zy Alexander, who was injured on the last play of the first half of the game on Saturday against Army. One of the things Brian Kelly did mention post-game on Saturday was how the defense sort of continues to improve. And play cut 9, please. And he talked about that Army game and how important the shutout was on Saturday for the defense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm pretty pleased with, playing a team that runs, a very difficult offense, because you have to leverage the football, you have to tackle well, you have to have gap integrity. All the principles of playing good defense are on display tonight. You have to have those in place. And so, we passed the test. Now, again, I'm not ready to nominate this defense for any award, but they are making the progress necessary to continue to build and have the building blocks to be a defense that can be a championship, football team. So good steps forward tonight. This was a big step for us.
It's interesting that Timmy B in the last segment said, he and I haven't talked about it. I don't know that he's heard me say it, but he said essentially the thing that I've been saying all year about this team since the summer when I picked him to win the SEC. And the point that I made then and have continued to make was, with an offense as good as LSU has, and I thought the offense would be fantastic. I clearly didn't think they'd be this good, but like literally the best offense in college football. But I thought that they would be very good and they could win a championship by playing complementary defense. If you remember, we went through all the college football playoff national champions, and I told you what they were in pass defense, every team. And I mean, from as low as Alabama in 2020 being 70th in the country in pass defense. You don't have to be great. You have to be good enough to complement a great offense. And LSU is a great offense. The question is, can the defense be good enough? And they're starting to marginally improve. Is it enough? The biggest test they'll get is going to be in Tuscaloosa a week from Saturday, because as much as Musso is bought in on Graham Mertz in Florida, I don't quite. Don't shake your head. You like Graham Mertz in Florida. You said that last week.
I said Graham Mertz is better than I thought he would be. I never said Florida was good. I never said they were going to win a bunch of games. I said he's better than I thought he would be, and he is.
Graham Mertz stinks. Florida stinks. LSU beat Florida. The biggest challenge they have is Alabama, clearly. If you go on the road and you pass that test, you can win at home against Bama. You can win at home against Texas A&M. By the way, here was Brian Kelly on the plan for this week with the open date.
We'll look at some things that we think that are important for us to address in practice before we start to look at Alabama. I think there's some things that individually that we want to get some players to look at, and then some scheme things, and we'll do that on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Everybody put it on Twitter. Musso loves Graham Mertz. President of the Graham Mertz fan club, at Musso Matthew. Everybody put it on Twitter. Make edits with, like, Musso wearing a 15 Florida jersey. Can we get Cassie to do that, Paul? Okay.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Let me get Musso with a
things
15 Graham Mertz jersey. Like maybe the back, kind of when he's looking backwards and doing this thing, like pointing to the nameplate on the back so you can see that it's Mertz.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, I like that. We'll make you wear it on your date, Muse. That's what we'll do. I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Well, you thought me playing the Barbie girl drop was a terrible idea all those years ago, and that seems to have worked out
I
pretty
thought
well.
it was a terrible idea. I just didn't want to do it.
Muse gets so caught up in semantics sometimes, doesn't he, Paulie?
It matters.
He just gets so caught up in these semantics.
He does. That matters.
I never said Graham Mertz was good. I just said he's better than I thought he was. We all know what you're implying, Muse. You think Graham Mertz in that Florida offense is good. That's okay. You can think that. You know what else you could do? You could download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you could bet on the NBA. Y'all, the NBA, it's back to Pelly's. Christmas Day is 2 days away, Muse. Let's go. The NBA is back. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down just $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it don't matter. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you will start the season with an instant dub. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word, smushed together, Baton Rouge. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Baton Rouge. The crown is yours. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana, select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. All right, it's after further review. We'll get to Otter Locks here in just a moment. See what the Otters got us betting on tonight. You can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Greg Lehman, how excited are you for Harbaugh to take over as head coach of the Saints next year? Wouldn't hate it if, in fact, it did go down like that and he was forced out at Michigan because of this whole scandal. I don't know if it would happen that way, but Jim Harbaugh was a fantastic head coach during his time in San Francisco with the 49ers. They played in a Super Bowl. So, yes, I would be great with Jim Harbaugh being the Saints head coach because he wins. Hunter Picard said, just sitting here counting the days till Chad Ochocinco comes on the show. We always do our update, our stat track update on the Ocho versus Scone bet on Tuesday after the full NFL schedule is done. So we got Monday Night Football tonight. So tomorrow we'll break down the stats. But something worth keeping in mind, Derek Carr has thrown for over 300 yards each of the last 2 weeks. So the stat compiler that is Derek Carr is actually pushing closer to the passing yardage total. Now the touchdowns are woefully short, and he's gonna sail past 6 interceptions on the season, but it is worth keeping an eye on. All right, it's after further review. Let's knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do a little Otter Locks, find out what we're betting on tonight, see if the Otters got to play for Monday Night Football or for Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. We'll get to that with Otter Locks next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I keep telling y'all, if you want your fall decor, you got to get to Clegg's. They are sold out of hay bales. So if you're thinking about getting those hay bales as you decorate for fall, that's done. But they still got a great selection of pumpkins of all different sizes, from the little mini pumpkins that are great for like a countertop or to put in a basket, or the giant pumpkins that are great to put, as a little display by your front door. They've got them. Gourds, squash, corn stalks, scarecrows. They got all the fall decor if you want it for not only for Halloween, but also all the way up to Thanksgiving. So get your porches decorated. Pick up a pumpkin or 2 for Halloween carving, painting parties as well. They've got them at Clegg's. They've also got all of your fall flowers, petunias and pansies and snapdragons. It's perfect for this fall weather. and that fall and winter color. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Not great with this Phillies game right now.
Yeah, so I actually didn't see it in time to give it out on air, so I spared our audience of that. We had a money line parlay with the Phillies and the Niners tonight. So Arizona leading the Phillies 4-1. Bottom five, no, it's top five, excuse me. 2 on and 2 out here for the Phillies, so we'll see if they can get out of it. But aside from this, Otter, are we looking at anything else tonight?
You know, I think Minnesota plus the points is a low value there. Man, it's flooded with money line bets on San Francisco and against the spread. So the 80% at some shops, San Francisco looking for them to bounce back. Now, McCaffrey's expected to play, no Deebo Samuel, but will he be compromised with that oblique? Maybe his touches might be down a little bit, and maybe a little bit less scoring with Justin Jefferson out as well with the Minnesota main target. So, with the adjusted lines and some really low unders, under still went 7-5 this week in the NFL. So, looking at a little bit of a dog and under tonight with Minnesota. So, trying to keep it close.
So Minnesota plus the 7 and maybe the under 44.
Yes.
All right. Any feeling on the on Game 7 there in the ALCS?
This is a tough one. I mean, Scherzer, basically a rehab start last time. He had very little. He got hit hard, and they kept him in there a long time. Remember we went to under, what was it, 13
and a half outs,
12 and a half outs.
13 and a half, yeah.
And he went 4 full innings and should not have gone that far. And maybe cost him the game, trying to get so much out of him. Very tight leash tonight. The next game for either team would be Friday in Game 1 of the World Series. So, minus the starters last night, pretty much all hands on deck tonight. And I think it's be another short leash. I'm looking, is he like 15 and a half total outs recorded tonight? Is the total? I think that's very high again for Max Scherzer.
All right. Let me see. I'm checking it right here. Scherzer.
Matt, while you check that out, he is.
Oh, wow. No, it's 13 and a half.
He has like the highest ERA
1 minute
for a
remaining.
starter, given like so many innings in postseason. So we talk a lot about Kershaw, but here he is being rushed back from an injury, and also he has had a rough time in the postseason. But I mean, 9 games under 500 for the Astros at home. They would have the worst record for any World Series team if they do somehow win tonight.
Wow. Game 7. It's always fun. Game 7 and Monday Night Football. So a lot going on tonight in the sporting world. We'll be keeping a close eye. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're at for a very special fundraiser tomorrow at the Original Walk-On.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll let
right.
you know all about it tomorrow.
Walk-ons there on Burbank for Otter and Hanny. Thank you, Otter. Have a great night.
Okay.
All right, be well. That'll do it for us here on a Monday edition of AFR. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome night. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. Give them a buzz at 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. And one of the things that's so important to stress, of course, is affordability. I think maybe that's probably one of the biggest objections some people may have. Man, it would be great to have refractive surgery and to not have to use contacts or glasses and be able to just wake up in the morning and see, like you always say. Can I afford it? Yes. Yes, you can. First of all, as technology advances, you see prices come down. Not that dissimilar from think about flat screen TVs, what they were 20 years ago and what they are now. As technology advances and improves, prices come down. So you've seen that a bit, but also the Williamson Eye Center will work with you to make sure that you can get this done. Dr. Blake's always said, believes everybody deserves the right to see perfect vision, and make it happen every day at the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.